You ever had a moment so ridiculous, so loaded with irony that you just had to laugh even as it stung? Well, picture this. The first real day of my adult life. My first shot at joining the so-called titans of the tech world. And there I am, ordered to fetch black coffee like I'm some background extra in my own story. The future CEO. Yeah, that's me standing there with an empty cup and a faint smile, not a clue in that whole boardroom that I was about to change their world forever. You want to know how all this started? The Hamilton Dynamics skyscraper, a glass beast that catches the sunrise and spits it back at the city every morning, was already buzzing by the time I walked in. Board members in their expensive suits, all of them thinking big, moving fast, barely glancing at the new girl who stepped in with curls pinned back and nerves under wraps. Some didn't look at me at all. The ones who did well, you could almost hear what they were thinking. She's here to serve, maybe fill out a diversity photo. Nothing more. That's just how things go, right? Yeah, that happened. John Carter, Senior VP, took one look, didn't even bother hiding the arrogance. Tapped his empty mug like a king expecting tribute. Black. No sugar, he barked. Not a please in sight. I took the cup, smiled. Yeah, I smiled. And I'm not sure even I believed it. You know what I mean. But inside, something in me bristled. I could feel old memories rising, nights in our tiny Brooklyn apartment. My mother coming home late, hands raw, eyes heavy, still managing a smile for me. All her sacrifices, her resilience, her endless hustle. She was my anchor, and I was here because I promised myself our story was going to change. Coffee in hand, I walked out of that boardroom, letting their laughter follow me down the hall. I was invisible to them, just a kid from nowhere. But I knew this wasn't where my story was going to end. That coffee was just the beginning. So let me back up a sec. My mom, Carol. Brooks, she was strength in a 5-foot frame. After Dad died, she worked 3 jobs to keep us afloat. We didn't have much. No weekends at the park, no cable TV, but we had each other. And I had big dreams fueled by late nights at the public library, torn pages of economics books and bootleg podcast downloads. The neighborhood kids called me weird, said I'd never get out. I guess nobody likes a dreamer until the dream comes true. I still remember that night I promised her, scribbled it in my old notebook. One day you'll never worry about rent again, Mom. One day. Every step I took from there, joining debate team, business clubs, landing a scholarship to Harvard, was about making that real. But you can't outrun bias, not even in the Ivy League. Whispered jokes, backhanded compliments, affirmative action, huh? Bet you feel lucky. I learned to keep my head down and let my work shout for me. If nothing else, I became bulletproof. But the business world? Oh, that's another animal entirely. At my first internship, I spent all night crunching numbers only to see a white guy get credit for my work. At Anderson and Partners, they let me lead a project, but when the client showed up, they pushed me into the shadows, smiling as they took the stage. That feeling, like you're always half visible, always 2 steps away from respect, it never goes away. But you find a way to use it, let it burn hot and bright, turn every slight into fuel. So back to Hamilton Dynamics. The coffee incident wasn't the last straw, but it was the one that made me see crystal clear I could wait for respect or I could take it. What none of those men knew, though, was that 2 weeks earlier, I'd gotten a letter that changed everything. A legal envelope stamped and formal inside the truth my mom had kept from me my whole life. My biological father, Robert Brooks, co-founder of Hamilton Dynamics. The man left me a 40% share, billions if you care about numbers. All those years I thought I was an outsider. Turns out I had a bigger claim than anyone in that building. My mother cried when I showed her. She finally told me the whole story about love, secrecy, family lines that didn't want us, and a promise my father made to protect us from the ugliness of prejudice. That legacy, that secret, was the ace up my sleeve. And man, did I need it. Every step that day they tried me. Greg Mason threw files at me, barking orders like I was a secretary. Margaret Simmons, the dragon lady of admin, told me to stick to snacks and stay out of grown folks' business. You ever feel like your patience is being measured out in grains of salt? That was me. I took their crap, did what they asked, because revenge, well, sometimes it tastes best after a few cups of coffee. Then came the moment John Carter, Mr. Big Shot, tells me to serve the board. Now he snaps like I'm on his payroll, my jaw locked, but I played along. I brewed the coffee, filled every cup with all the grace my mama taught me, then sat down at the back of that room and watched as Carter launched into his grand vision for the company. Charts, numbers, buzzwords, man, he could talk, but none of it meant anything. I saw the holes in every plan. The room nodded along, but I knew better. I stood up. Yeah, me, the coffee girl. My chair scraped the floor. Every head turned. Mr. Carter, as a major shareholder, I have something to say. You could have heard a pin drop. Carter nearly dropped his tablet. You... What? The board shifted, muttered. I told them the truth, who I was, who my father was, what I owned. Then I laid out my plan, real numbers, real innovation, a blueprint for dragging Hamilton Dynamics out of the past and into the future. My presentation crisp, clear, and I could see the tide turning as I spoke. Even the CEO, Richard Hamilton himself, stood up and clapped when I finished. For the first time, I saw real respect in that room mixed with fear. Sure, but respect all the same. Carter. He was pale as a ghost, too mad to speak. I didn't rub it in. I just stood there letting the moment do what it needed to. But if you think that was the end, no, not a chance. The final test came at the big board vote. The press was there, cameras everywhere, the whole company watching. Carter made his last pitch, said I was too young, too green, tried to paint me as some diversity hire playing the race card. I let him talk. And then the votes came in one by one. 8-1, I got it. Hamilton Dynamics had its new CEO, me. I won't pretend I didn't savor it. The applause, the headlines, the look on Carter's face, it was poetic. But what mattered more was what happened next. I cleaned house. Carter gone. The old guard out. I rebuilt the board with real talent people from every background, not just the right schools or the right families. We started a youth program for kids like me, launched tech incubators, put real money into employee support and mental health. The company soared, record profits, sure, but more importantly, people finally felt seen, felt heard. Even as the media made me out to be some kind of hero, I kept walking those halls, talking to everyone from the janitor to the CTO, remembering where I came from. Carter tried to drag my name through the mud, but the results spoke for themselves. Employees wrote me letters telling me for the first time they felt proud to work here. That meant more to me than any headline. One day Carter came to my office, beaten down and different. He apologized, really apologized for everything. I told him, we all learn. We all change. That's what matters. And I meant it. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is forgive the people who tried to break you. So that's the story. Not just of a woman who took over a billion-dollar company, but of someone who learned that true leadership isn't about being in charge. It's about lifting people up, even the ones who doubted you. And sometimes it starts with a lousy cup of coffee. Now, what about you? You ever been underestimated, pushed down, forced to prove yourself twice as hard? Let's hear your story. Where do you stand on leadership, on justice, on what's fair? Drop your thoughts below, because change doesn't happen in silence. Let's talk.